We had it approved in February, which is obviously the same month that the budget was approved, and part of the budget was the announcement of the National Insurance Holiday, which clearly was intended to attract people to the island to fill the many jobs that we have had. We haven't got any accurate data at this stage, but what we have received is considerable positive media coverage, both on and off island, and being extremely well received, and we hope those jobs are being filled.
As you say, the main aim of this is to bring in more people to work, people of working age. Why do we need to import these younger people?
Well, it's not just younger people. Our primary focus is growing the economically active, and that's part of the programme for government, of course. But what has happened over a period of time here is that we retained and reformed the work permit scheme, which you'll remember just over a year prior. That's been extremely well received, and that has seen our unemployment go down quite significantly. Both the long-term unemployment, the youth unemployment has all gone down to sort of, I think we hit a 15-year low in terms of unemployment a year ago. So we clearly got very low unemployment, but we have a lot of employment opportunities, and that's why the Locate strategy was launched, to try and attract people to fill those many jobs that are available on the island.
Well, there has been a study on the Isle of Man population published this week. One of the headlines from that showed that we have the fourth oldest population in the world. Does that highlight how much of an issue this is?
Yes, yeah. I just saw the headline. I haven't read the report and the data, but Paul Crane, who published that, well-respected academic, and I'm sure he's used some very valid data to compile that, and that'll be, I assume, related to births, deaths, and those people who are moving to the Isle of Man in terms of registering with the GPs. So yeah, that is quite an alarming statistic, and from our point of view in Department for Enterprise, we're not overly concerned with that particular demographic. We're more concerned with actually filling the jobs, and it doesn't necessarily need to be young people. The Isle of Man, we know, is attractive to a number of different age groups, and we know that particularly families are attracted to the island, and we have a number of different focuses and themes and action points within the Locate strategy. One of them is actually trying to attract more of our students and the Manx diaspora to come back to the Isle of Man.
Well, picking up on your comment there about families, one of the comments that Paul Crane made was that birth rates are down by around about a third. Does there need to be more done to encourage working families?
Yes, you're right, and I'd probably highlight some of the actual levers. And we in the debate, when we did the research actually around about the Locate strategy, there's a number of different levers, and one of them is childcare, for example. That's an important feature, and we have, as a government, managed to increase that particular allowance and credit over the years. And you just heard that we've in the last budget, we're also going to increase the benefit for the student allowance there, and there are some orders coming forward from the Department for Education, I think the next couple of months, that will give financial benefit for those who are being educated off island for further education. So we hope those are fiscal benefits that will help people.
Well, we spoke to a student on Perspective a little while back about the incentives for students, and she said, well, it's a nice thought, but it's not really big enough to have an impact. Do you think that's something that there needs to be more done in that area?
Yeah, it's £1.5 million worth of thought, so it's a significant benefit that will help those who do struggle to send people. But we're also highlighting, and you've seen a growth with regards to the number of academic qualifications you can get on island through our own University of Man, and in addition to that, there has been a growth, and we as the department started that and now taken over by education with regards to vocational opportunities. I think at the last count, which is probably a good few months ago, I think there's about 17 or 18 different vocational routes that you can follow in terms of apprenticeships and so forth to get yourself into some meaningful and employment here on the island.
I know Locate is still very much in its early stages at the moment. When can you expect there will be data to show how many people have been encouraged to move here because of the scheme?
We have a number of, I think there's 44 different action points, 6 different themes, 44 different action points within that. So what we're going to do is measure that against those particular action points. And I will be coming back regularly, I think an annual to Tynwald as such. But what we hope here is that we, not just as a department, as a government, but really the Isle of Man acts as ambassadors to promote the Isle of Man, because we know, and as we look out the window here, what a beautiful place that we have to live and work, but what people don't realise are particularly the employment opportunities. We're seeing growth in a number of different areas. One of them, which today we were discussing in department, is blockchain, for example, new technology, a new industry, and that is an industry that is very attractive towards the young tech orientated people. So that would be an attraction for people to come to the Isle of Man, because there's opportunities in this new field.
As you say, that is an industry that would attract the younger generation, but do we have the amenities for younger people, things like music concerts, sports venues, that kind of thing? Can we really attract workers of that kind of age and keep them here? Well,
what we won't be, and I think we make that very, very clear, is we're an alternative to city life. City life is a half an hour away if you want to go on a plane and enjoy all that. But what we do have here, you mentioned sport. If you're into your sport, for example, you wish to participate in sport, the actual offer here on the Isle of Man is really, really strong. If you're into your culture, you're into your arts, that is really, really strong here as well. And if you just like the outdoors, the scenery, walking, there's a lot here to actually enjoy. So we have a lot to offer, but what we need to do is to ensure that we are attractive and make that message very, very clear. And that's what the marketing is all about with regards to the Locate strategy, will be to identify the demographic that suits those that would enjoy that type of environment.
And just finally, how will we know when Locate has been successful?
The feedback, for me personally, is yes, there will be stats, and we will come back with that on an annual basis. But the real feedback is when business tells me that they're managing to fill those jobs, and let's understand why we need to do that. Because if we want business to grow and be sustainable here, they need to fit. And business confidence is actually quite strong, despite what's happening elsewhere economically and politically. The business confidence remains strong, and there's employment opportunities. So our job and our role is to help them fill that. And when they tell me that they can continue to fill those jobs, continue to grow, then I know it's been a success.